1 week.
राधिका जी, राधिका जी, राधिका जी,
वेट कर रही
राधिका जी, राधिका जी, राधिका जी, वेट।
Thank you. Very difficult. Thank you. Where is it?
Sorry, I forgot. Just नहीं यहाँ पे
Come to center. Come.
सगळ्यांनी मागे
Yeah.
थैंक यू.
सबसे पहले तो विस्लिंग वुड जो है वहाँ आना मुझे हमेशा बड़ा प्यारा लगा है, हमेशा अच्छा लगा है. इसलिए कि ये कैसे मुझे हमेशा दुख भी होता है यहाँ आकर के यार जब हम लोग स्ट्रगल कर रहे थे और जब हम कुछ बनना चाह रहे थे तो ऐसी प्लेटफॉर्म्स और ऐसे कैंपस और ऐसे इंस्टीट्यूट क्यों नहीं थे. और जहाँ तक अंजुम सर का ताल्लुक है ऐसे सिखाने वाले तो शायद अगर ये हमको हमारे वक्त में मिला होता तो हमारी जो स्ट्रगल है वो थोड़ी और छोटी हो जाती है और आज जिस जगह भी हम हैं उससे थोड़ा और बेहतर होते. तो यहाँ आना जो है सुभाष जी और सारे लोग जो हैं ये एक फैमिली की तरह है. तो यहाँ तो ये है कि वी आर जस्ट वन फ़ोन कॉल अवे कि आप आ जाओ और हम भाग कर आते हैं. तो हमारे लिए बड़ी खुशी की बात है. और ये जो सेशन जो रहा बहुत अच्छा रहा. अंजुम साहब थे, इन लोगों से बहुत अच्छी अच्छी बातें हुई. तो इट वॉज अ फैंटास्टिक एक्सपीरियंस.
No, I'm about Celebrate Cinema. I think it's a great idea to have this Celebrate Cinema event, and I think it's very nice to like that Whistling Woods organizes these kind of panels, and I love coming here. And I think I've been here many times, all thanks to Anjum sir. And it's great to see the students, who are very very interested in learning more about cinema. And yeah, I had a great time today. It was fun.
Yeah, same. This is my first time. It made me. It'll make me ask questions, and it was an introspective experience. And sorry, that was the topic of the discussion as well. Yeah, it's very interesting actually because you don't get the opportunity purely from selfish point of view. You don't get the opportunity to actually have such discussions with your fellow makers. So yeah, very very good.
And Alankrita, Anis sir and Radhika, you had such a firing discussion about introspection and social issues, etc. etc. As budding filmmakers, what advice would you give us to sort of bring in that element yet be authentic about it? And how can an institution like Whistling Woods can help into inculcating that seed in us?
I mean, you have excellent teachers.
I think हाँ Whistling Woods is doing already doing. और जहाँ तक अपना वी आर नॉट मैसेज का नहीं है लेकिन मुझे पर्सनली फील होता है कि जो भी स्टूडेंट सिनेमा सीख रहे हैं उनको ये एक जिम्मेदारी अपने सर के ऊपर नहीं रखनी चाहिए कि हमें कोई ऐसी फिल्म बनानी है जिसमें हमें बहुत मैसेजेस देने हैं और समाज को सुधारना है. तो समाज जो है वो अपने आप धीरे धीरे चीज़ों को सब संभालता है. वक्त के साथ सब चीज़ें होती है. मुझे पर्सनली लगता है कि जो सिनेमा है उसका एक बेसिक सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट नंबर 1, बाकी अगर सब कुछ आए तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन नंबर 1 है कि वो एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए है एंड इट इज़ अ वेरी वेरी कमर्शियल सब चीज़ें हैं. तो एक फिल्म के ऊपर वही फिल्म बनाइए जो आपको बिलीव है. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि ऐसी कोई फिल्म बनानी जिसमें कुछ सवालात उठाने हैं बट इफ़ यू बिलीव ऑन तो उसको भी आप किसी तरह इस तरह बनाइए कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा उपदेश देने वाला ना हो, वो लोग इंजॉय कर सकें, उसको बहुत प्यार से देख सकें और वो उस चीज़ में भी आप जो है हर चीज़ ला सकते हैं. लेकिन वो जिम्मेदारी जो है मुझे लगता है वो फिल्म मेकर्स के सर पर नहीं है कि आपको सवाल उठाने हैं और लोगों को सुधारना है. ये मेरा पर्सनल मानना है. बाकी
I mean, I just feel that every person is different. I don't think one form, like, one way of making films suits all. I think it's very important to figure out what are the films you want to make? What is it that you connect with, and how do you define your own success? I don't think there's any, one definition or the other. You have to figure out what works for you and what are you drawn to. So I think if somebody wants to make, wants to make like a quieter film, somebody wants to make like a bigger film, I think it's about that person, and they should be, I think, authentic in either way. In both cases, it's not that the people who are making really big successful films are not authentic. They are authentic in their own way, So I think you just have to figure out who you are, and I think run with that rather than trying to be somebody you're not. That would be my advice.
Radhika, what would you say? You being the vessel and the person out there in front of the camera.
One thing I'll tell you, there's little choice when you're an actor. But as in, it's not a choice when you're a maker. But I do have the aspiration to make something on my own. And so I'm trying at least to find my own voice, not be influenced by either what is commercial or whatever, all these things. And actually, as you said so aptly, and that there's also that thing of wanting to reject what you believed was not something that you approved of for so many. But having said that, I feel like it's a journey. How when we are teenagers, we just like reject and want to rebel and just say that this is bad, and then we learn that, oh, this is my actual voice. So it is a journey. And so any filmmaker, I feel it's a journey. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. I really believe that as an actor on anything, that it's really fine if you fail.
That's an amazing answer. My question is to Anjum and Alankrita both. Since Anjum teaches here and Alankrita has been a student here.
No, I haven't been a student here.
You have worked with the alumni and all. So what importance formal education plays in, in building a filmmaker or anyone who's related to cinema, be it writers, be it the technicians, be it the directors, all the filmmakers, etc., etc. And what Whistling Woods, as an institution plays out as.
See, all departments of cinema, starting from writing, direction, and all the technical departments, there's a large element of craft, because there is, whether you like it or not, an industrial process that the whole story goes through, the script goes through. When it is important, therefore, to at least learn the craft. Now, whether you do it formally or whether you do it on your own, it has to be learned. There are a lot of us, like in our generation, all four of us, we never had any formal education. But did we or did we not study how it is to be done through examples that we saw, through watching other people work, through analyzing the good work that was done before us? So that's how we learned. So it's very important to do that. What Whistling Woods does is that there is a formal system. But within the formal system, the primary aim is to allow the student to discover her or his own voice. And then we offer them the tools of expression.
Yes.
So what they want to say, it depends upon them. How they want to say it is where we can perhaps aid them. And we try to do that from the script onwards. So in that sense, it does, and I speak from experience, 16 years that I've been here. It is a nurturing place, and we never ever compromise on the ideas or the essential creativity of the student, regardless of, as Alankrita says, whether it is going to fail or not. But it doesn't matter. Let him fail better again. It doesn't matter. All of us fail and we learn. The greatest teacher. So that is protected. So there is a certain kind of, I would say, almost sanctity about that do not interfere with the student's creative attempts. Try and help him by offering him the tools of expression so that he or she expresses himself as best as they can. This is the ideology of Whistling Woods, which is what I personally also believe in.
And Alankrita, you have worked with people from
I've had a great experience with everyone who I've worked with from Whistling Woods, and I did my master's in mass communication from Jamia, and I feel like that really helped me, even though it wasn't just a technical course. But I think it helped me to think about stories. So I think, though I didn't learn any like craft about screenwriting, but I think it's good to have an education in filmmaking if that's what you want to do. I think that it can never do any harm, and of course when you actually go and work on on a real set, things are always different, but I think that training really does come in very handy. And I think it's great that there's a place like Whistling Woods in Bombay, where there's so much interaction between professionals and students and all of that. So I think Whistling Woods is doing a great job.
And one second, as Anis said, that even in my days when I began to get the ambition of wanting to write, if there was an institution like this, I would have.
Yeah, and my son was here, Faizan, and जब वो यहाँ पर आया था और उसके बाद जब यहाँ से वो पूरा सीख कर समझ के निकला है, तो आई कैन सी द डिफरेंस. खुद अपने बेटे को मैंने देख सकता हूँ कि वो 2 साल पहले क्या था और आज उसकी थिंकिंग क्या है. तो देखिए, जो सुभाष जी हैं, अभी उन्होंने इतने बेहतरीन हमेशा काम किए, इतनी अच्छी अच्छी फिल्में बनाई है. एक यंग जनरेशन के जो फिल्म मेकर्स हैं उनके लिए हमेशा वो बहुत इन्फ्लुएंस उन्होंने किया है. उनका काम लोगों ने देखा है. मैं खुद बहुत बड़ा उनका फ़ैन रहा हूँ. उन्होंने जो फिल्में बनाई है वो बहुत ही लाजवाब फिल्में बनाई है. लेकिन अपनी ये सारी फिल्मों के बाद जो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत बड़ा जो सुभाष जी ने अचीवमेंट किया है वो ये बनाकर, ये क्योंकि इसमें बहुत लोगों को एक डायरेक्शन मिल रहा है. सारे बच्चे जो है उनका एक फ्यूचर, और उनको जिस तरह सिखाया जा रहा है और जितना सीरियसली उस चीज़ को यहाँ पर मैंने महसूस किया है, आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट थिंग.
Wow, amazing. Just last concluding quote from all of you, that what is that one-liner message that you want to give to the aspirants of cinema, be it anything, starting from Radhika.
Oh God. Like, just too many opinions, I think, thrown at everybody. So just to do what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do what you love.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what advice to give. I don't know.
I mean, I feel that everyone is talented, and I think the thing that makes a difference is having that kind of emotional resilience to be able to stay in it, even when things are not working out, things take long. So I think one needs a lot of emotional resilience, and I would say that, so just build on that, because you often need it, because sometimes things take longer, this and like lots of things happen. So I think for me, I feel that's the most important quality to have and develop as a filmmaker is resilience.
That's great, actually. I agree. Yeah, that's great.
What do you say, sir?
आई फील कि ज़िंदगी में जब भी हम कुछ कर रहे हैं तो मुश्किलें भी आएंगी, बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मुश्किलों के वक्त आदमी को हारना नहीं है. और 2-3 चीज़ें इंसान को, अपने जो लोग हैं आज के यंग, उनको ये रखनी चाहिए कि मेहनत में कोई कमी ना आए, और वो बहुत सच्ची लगन से, ईमानदारी से अगर अपना काम करे तो दुनिया की कोई ताकत उनको जिस जगह वो पहुंचना चाहते हैं वहाँ से जाने से कोई नहीं रोक सकता.
And Anjum, what would you want to say? One-liner.
I think the concept of talent is highly overrated. What a creative person needs is the desire to express herself and the ability to tolerate frustration in the creative process. That's it. Frustration tolerance, if a writer inculcates, I think more or less the longevity of their effort, career is through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
There's an outside door as well.
So इस बार Whistling this time Whistling celebrate cinema. So क्या कुछ कहना चाहेंगे आप लोग and इस मौके पर आज यहाँ पर सभी present हैं. So would you like to say something?
एक तो बहुत खुशी होती है हर बार हम जब विस्लिंग वुड्स आते हैं बिकॉज हमारी शुरुआत यहाँ से हुई थी. मतलब मैं यहाँ पला बड़ा नहीं हूँ. हमारे कुछ इनिशियल जो शोज़ है वो यहाँ पे शूट हुए और बहुत शुरू से सीसी और विस्लिंग वुड्स हैव बीन वेरी सपोर्टिव अबाउट व्हाट वी आर डूइंग. एंड टुडे बीइंग ऑन अ पैनल तो थोड़ा ऐसा लग रहा है कि कुछ कहीं पे पहुँच गए अभी 3-4 साल में. तो वेरी हैप्पी अबाउट इट.
So I come from a film school myself, so I know how important it is to have these, master classes and to get an insight on what people are thinking. So बहुत खुशी हुई आके and we're very happy to interact with the students.
And ये जो टाइम जिस तरह से चल रहा है क्योंकि डिजिटल का टॉपिक भी था आप लोगों को, एजुकेशन सिनेमा की कितनी ज़रूरत है हमारे यूथ को स्पेशली. एंड क्या कुछ कहना चाहिए कि एजुकेशन बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट हो गया हमारे इंडियन सिनेमा एजुकेशन सिनेमा.
एजुकेशन ऑफ सिनेमा मतलब
हाँ बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है. मैं खुद कभी फिल्म स्कूल गया नहीं लेकिन फॉर्चुनेटली मुझे ऐसे कुछ टीचर्स मिले, गुरु मिले जिनके साथ असिस्ट करते वक्त मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा सीखने को मिला. सो एजुकेशन इज़ वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट. इज़ दैट्स द क्वेश्चन राइट. सो हाँ तो फिल्म का एजुकेशन लेना बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है. आप किसी भी चीज़ का एक्चुअली फिल्म नहीं किसी लाइफ में जो भी करना चाहते हो उसके पहले इट्स वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट यू नो व्हाट इट इज़. तो उसके लिए मेरे ख्याल से देयर इज़ लाइक अ प्लेस लाइक दिस विल हेल्प to go a long way.
Yeah, I think the film industry is a very lonely place to work if you don't have a community, and film school is where you will make that community who will grow with you. And if you want to go out in the world on your own and figure it out, you're more than welcome to. But the thing that was best for me in the film school experience was that you get exposed to things you would never anticipate exist, and you have a batch of people who you can grow and succeed with later on, and that's the best part, is having a network.
Yeah.
So you guys come from the digital space mainly. How important is to have education for the new age content or digital content that is developing and is booming and is going to boom and continue to grow for about a decade from now on? And how important education plays in this digital content space?
Oh, it's so important because education is super important for the digital space because you need to have a discipline, and education gives you that practice and place to experiment and make mistakes, where once you go out in the digital world, that stuff is there forever. So that's a really great thing to have this playground in the education space.
And the digital space is so young that we ourselves are students right now, and there are no rules. Like cinema and other kinds of content has rules, but digital is anything possible now. So it's fun to be students yourself, it's fun to educate, and it's also fun to learn from other young people.
Absolutely. What is your take?
The same thing, like we have a bunch of 20-22-year-olds in our office working right now, and we learn a lot more from them than what they learn from us. We can tell them about storytelling, about how to write a script or how to make a video, but in terms of the technical evolution that is happening, we almost feel dated, and we wish that someone had taught us about the whole digital space, about the technology, use of technology, and to stay up to date with that, you need a place like Whistling Woods, which is already into VR. Like they are seeing things.
They are almost
predicting what is going to happen, and that is very important. I wish I would have known how to shoot for VR, how to use it in a right way, because that's the future, and I can't get that experience outside anywhere.
Okay, this is the last question since I was in the session, and this is a session-based question.
Yeah.
All of you spoke about content marketing and having brands, on board. So I wanted to ask that, is there, what is your learning over the period of years as to how to, work around or play around brands, and how much percentage of content should be your content and how much percentage of content should be the brand integration? Is there any sort of mantra that you go ahead with?
You use the word brand integration. I think that's integration means it should be an integral part of the story. It can't be something that has been put on it or slapped on it from outside. It can't be like a super running niche. It has to be, so there's one very good word that we used to hear a lot in lot of marketing meetings, but never actually they'd never implemented it, but we are trying to do that right now, which is the brand should be just an enabler. It should enable the character to do something and nothing beyond that. And that if you can place your brand in such a way that it plays a role of an enabler, then it becomes the integral part of the show or series or sketch, whatever you're making, and it doesn't affect the viewing experience.
Any sort of mantra that you have that itna percent hum log brand ke liye rakhenge?
No, in fact, I think first of all, brands have the money, they want to spend it. So they also want to collaborate with content that is going to make them feel proud. So now, in fact, we have a lot of brands coming and telling us that, you can kind of cut down a little bit of our stuff so that we have audience retention.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any formula as such. We go with, like what Sarang is saying, whatever is integral to the story.
See, the whole point is brands also make ads. They don't want this to be just another ad.
Yeah.
Right? If they just wanted it to be an ad, they would have made an actual ad. The point is where it's more subtle, it's more layered, it's there, it's the feeling it evokes, it's that kind of stuff.
Okay, one. You wanted to say something.
Oh, I was gonna say that when a brand comes to us, it's because they want to collaborate with us as creators and our voice to reach our audience. So essentially, it needs to be your vision and your story that you want to tell to your team, and the brand is also enabling you to do that by financing it. So essentially, rather than doing an ad as a creator where you're just trying to serve the brand's needs, in this case, both you and the brand have to come together and serve your audience, and that's where that chemistry can get really fun.
Just a last question, because of patriotism in cinema, which is the theme of Celebrate Cinema this year. How do you see progression of patriotism in the digital space, content space?
It's actually doing quite a bit because especially we are celebrating 75 years. There's a lot of push around it. Even we did 7 videos for 7 days from 7th of August to the 15th of August. Lot of stories are still to be told about how we got our freedom. There are a lot of stories to be told how people are doing good work for the nation, and it's endless because eventually nation is a collective concept, and everyone will have their own vision and perception towards that, so we can just keep on telling stories forever.
And broadly, patriotism is, being close to your roots and loving it, and I think regional content is that, so I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you.
लाल बाग which you have seen. So I was waiting कि पिंपरी चिंचवड is also a place.
It's
उसका culture बहुत अलग है.
हाँ, उसका
पुणे का भी culture बहुत अलग है.
it's written. It's just that we have so much to.
Pimpri Chinchwad versus Pune, a girl coming to get married in Pimpri Chinchwad.
We are in fact doing a entire film based in Pimpri Chinchwad.
Yes.
It's called Jhol. It's ready, and next year we'll be doing. Yeah.
Not so announcement.
Thank you.